when you speak of AI, one assumes that none would know if you've used AI or not, but it seems like the story is completely different. As AI grows, detection and monitoring tools also getting better with it. Think you can use AI and no one will know anymore? Well, not anymore. There are now tools that can detect AI use, and that's exactly what's happened at one of the world's biggest accounting firms, KPMG. A senior partner at KPMG Australia has been fined 10,000 Australian dollars after 28 staff members were caught using AI tools to cheat in an internal training exams. Now, the irony here is that the exam that they cheated in was about the ethical use of artificial intelligence. The staff allegedly uploaded training material into external AI tools and generated answers violating the company's policy. All 28 employees were forced to retake the test and pay heavy fines. The breach was reported to Chartered Accountants Australia and New Zealand as well, triggering an independent investigation into it. Now, this is not an isolated case. According to Financial Times, all four Big Four firms like Deloitte, PwC, EY and KPMG have all faced fines in recent years over cheating and misconduct scandals. In another recent case, Deloitte Australia submitted a government report filled with errors. The government of Australia was a client and it was filled with errors, and the firm later apologized, saying it was AI. They admitted that it was AI and also refunded part of the amount, the fees. Well, Australian senators are now calling for tighter regulation of AI use. KPMG CEO Andrew Yates says that the firm began monitoring AI use in 2024, and that's exactly how they managed to discover these breaches, that they're getting better with detecting AI usage. Monitoring will now be strengthened, is what KPMG CEO has said. In fact, the company is actively using generative AI in its work. That said, we're looking at companies also relying on AI a lot to summarize documents, draft emails, speed up research. That is, according to them, smart productivity. In fact, a lot of them are being let off, they're downsizing, all because they have now AI tools to do the work. But using AI to cheat exams, of course, crossing the line here. In professions particularly related to auditing, law, finance, medicine, all of this demands a lot of integrity. And of course, even client anonymity and client data protection is something that is of prime importance for these companies and for the clients. Of course, they're the big companies. Imagine if client data is leaked into AI. Now, that was the fear, especially in this case when the partner was fined. The fear was that a lot of personal information and data of clients may have been compromised by uploading it on AI just to get your answers. Well, companies now detect AI misuse through software that studies writing patterns, copy-paste behavior, and typing rhythm. Managers also check whether a person can exploit their answers clearly. Managers also check whether a person can explain their answers very clearly in real time. If your spoken knowledge does not really match your polished submission there, then that itself is a red flag. Companies are asking employees now to use AI and experiment with it, to innovate with it, but they're also being punished if they misuse it. Violating company policy, there are certain guidelines on how you should use AI, where you should use AI. If that is violated, then you're punished as well. But it seems like in a lot of these companies across the world, the rules are slightly blur. Well, for sure, you can't work your answers through AI for an internal exam. Now, that's a big no. But otherwise, companies pushing you to adapt to AI, yet penalizing you when you use it, it is a grey zone, certainly. Let me quickly bring in Pawan Duggal, Advocate, Supreme Court and Chief Executive, Artificial Intelligence Law Hub, joining us. We also have Kanish Gaur, Founder, India Future Foundation and Tech Expert, and also Kumar Aniket, Corporate Governance Expert. Thanks, both of you, for joining us. Kanish, I'll start with you on where does the law currently draw the line between legitimate AI assistance and misconduct? And with example of KPMG here, 28 of its staff of the AI, in fact, KPMG's partner and the 28 staff members associated writing their internal tests by using answers through AI, they've given all their information and fed the information into an AI tool. So that's compromising with data as well. But KPMG is getting a lot more vigilant and they've adapted tools to detect AI. Give us a little more. While the world is now shifting to AI, how hard or difficult is it for companies to even notice if you've generated your answers?
See, it's not difficult for companies to notice. And companies like KPMG, Deloitte, EY, and PwC of the world are putting systems, softwares in place to prevent AI platforms to be used on their laptops and machines. But the consultants are finding a smarter way by taking snapshots and pictures through their mobile phones and uploading it on tools like ChatGPT to get the answer. So humans always find a method. So the course correction is not through penalizing, but through a change management activity by coaching people that by copyright infringement or by plagiarism or by feeding in client confidential information into AI tools, it is only going to bring more liability for these big four consulting firms. And mind you, this is not the first time it has happened. It happened to Deloitte as well, where AI research led to references for a Department of Health in Australia, where these references were rudimentary. They were all AI generated. They did not exist in a real time basis. So, and this is not the first time we are seeing consultants doing it. It's more that consulting is losing its edge with AI coming out in a big way, and a lot of big four consultants will be out of job. You won't require so many consultants to be there. It will be replaced through agentic AI based agents because the agentic AI based agents will bring that research and knowledge. It is only going to be human in the loop using that knowledge, putting it in the right manner. So, until and unless consultants really pull up their sleeves and start doing real research and not just limiting to creating presentations or Excel spreadsheets, it's gonna be a hard time for consulting. I have been a career consultant. I've spent a decade and a half, and I realized that it's only through depth that you can really outpace AI. You need to have the right skills in place to understand how AI operates and then use AI as a support mechanism and not build your
I'm
complete
not
base.
even sure if AI is making you smarter or dumber.
See, it is ultimately up to the individual. You can get, you can use AI if you use it the right manner to search for references. But if you have to write reports, you have to write reports through proper referencing. Now, in Big Four consulting environment, I haven't seen styles of referencing done the right manner. And I'm talking as a career consulting, where people copy data but don't give proper referencing. But if you talk about research and you're going to provide this report, which will be used in court or is going to be used by government,
Yeah.
you need proper referencing, whether it is inside uh, taxation or whether it is end referencing. That has to be done the right way. And today you have softwares which can easily detect if a certain part of the report has been generated through AI. It'll pick up in a couple of minutes itself. So the consultants really need to ensure that they have the right level of ethics, integrity. So in these big four consulting firms, you need to have the right coaching mechanism for teaching consultants ethics and giving them playbooks on doing consulting the right way and not looking at doing shortcuts.
Among the employees as well, I mean, you expect them to churn out work quickly and fast and produce, emails and, documentation with great speed. And they say, catch up, catch up. Now in the age of AI, you have to catch up. And then when they use AI, then you're branded as someone who's dumb and can't work on your own.
Consulting
You're relying on AI. So it's such a double-edged sword.
Consulting is changing in a big way. It is no more presentation, PPT, or Excel based consulting. People who've been doing consulting are now become research oriented consultants, where everything they are producing has to be backed by research. So you're seeing more firms like OpenAI even getting into consulting through proper referencing and research because the data is available today. It's only about providing it in the right form. So the traditional consulting mechanism is rapidly changing. It is going to be theory led, it is going to be research led. That is a massive shift which is happening in consulting. It's only time that these consultants adapt to it. Otherwise, a lot of them are going to be out of job.
Also going to welcome Pawan Dugal on the panel here. Mr. Dugal, what's your take on AI detection tools now getting smarter? KPMG fining 28 of its employees for relying on AI tools to generate answers for their internal examinations. Now, just a layman answer here for all those of us in companies using AI, assuming that AI answers or AI generated documents will not attract a penalty, or basically it's not violating company policy, whatnot. Now we understand there are tools to detect your AI approach. Could you, send out a message for those watching, relying heavily on AI to get their work out? What could be the trouble they could face?
First and foremost, if you are extensively relying upon AI, apart from becoming and transforming yourself as a cognitive slave of big tech companies, you're doing a great disservice to your own self because you're rusting your own cognitive capabilities and thought processes. Number one. Number two, if you think AI output is your key for success, think again. With all these AI detection tools available, companies are now able to identify at a very, very short period of time whether your content is AI generated or not. Now, today, AI is, in the context of the corporate sector, is actually being seen as a misconduct, as an unfair practice. Why? Because while the productivity and the efficiency elements of AI are well appreciated, the problem is AI is indoctrinating almost all kinds of responses into a single harmonized kind of an approach. So your creativity goes for a six. More importantly, if you use your AI tool for your output, you're effectively sharing all your corporate data with the AI algorithm. And the algorithm company, in its terms and conditions, tell you, please don't share any of your information because whatever information that you share with us, whether it's corporate or otherwise, will be deemed by us to be public information, where the entity concerned or the company concerned will have no privacy. So consequently, you're exposing the secrets and the working methodologies of the company to AI for all times to come. Because once this content has been put into AI, it's going to remain on a perpetuity basis on the database, which effectively means the next time any of this firm's content would be generated internally, tools will always say that this is nothing but copied from AI. So I think people need to start understanding that the honeymoon with AI is over. We'll have to be more mature in terms of usage of AI. Use where absolutely essential, but don't use it as an unfair methodology or means for achieving some vested interest. And ultimately, please don't mortgage the corporate interests and the trade secrets of your company by putting things up on AI.
I would like an answer from you on the ways to detect AI work, but let me bring in Kumar Aniket in the meanwhile. Kumar Aniket, a lot of employees believe that there is a push to adapt to AI, but yet when AI extensively is used, then your services are no longer required because then they can get it done from AI. Why do I need a mediator, right? So employees very confused whether to catch up, use AI, and if they do, then are they going to, will AI then, will one person be able to do 10 people's work? Why does a company have to retain that strength, that bench strength they can reduce? So it's a very tricky situation for employees as well on what approach to take, whether to to take their time and churn out authentic documents and authentic pieces of writing, or be faster and just generate more as what's expected. You got to unmute yourself, please.
So Nabila, thank you for giving me opportunity to air my views. So my take on this is that you have to see in the light of history. History repeats itself. So AI, at one hand, AI is like a stick. In the hands of the right person, it is a deadly weapon. But at the same time, in the hands of somebody who doesn't like to walk, the person ends up getting handicapped. So how you use it, it depends on it. And a historical reference is then when computers came first, lots of people in accounts, law, and other areas were afraid that they will lose their jobs because the computers will end up doing everything. But over a period, what happened that computers ended up creating more jobs. Here also, what will happen is like, though, and one more thing is important that those who decided not to adopt to computers, not to learn computers, they become redundant. So here the thing for people is implies that you need to master AI, but don't allow AI to master you. Over a period, AI will become differentiator. There will be a dip in jobs initially for 3, 4 years, but after that, new people will come up. They will know how to use AI, and of course, AI will end up, take up jobs of 8 out of 10, but more jobs will be created, and it will be a different kind of workforce. So for employees and people, the decision to take is, do you want to ride the horse or you want to carry the horse on your shoulders? It's their decision. Employees need to decide for
How much
themselves.
responsibility on companies? What's the responsibility on the companies to ensure clear definition of acceptable AI use?
Look, if you're talking about companies and clear acceptability of companies are about profit. They are not about law, ethics, or everything. If you are a corporate founder, except few companies, it is all about not getting caught. They're least bothered about ethics or law. So regulations come into play, the kind of culture we create. Like you see, Europe is leading in this area. They have by law provided that there has always have to be a human at top. They have built-in provisions for independent audits. California, New York and Colorado have come up with laws where they are providing for bias audits in AI, bias data. Employment also, they have provided that if a job, they have posted a job and somebody is reviewing using AI to review the application. So the person needs to know the company needs to disclose to that person. And then the person needs to be given a chance that, look, I don't want to be vetted by AI. I want my profile to look at by real human. So that option, if they exercise, the company needs to, give them a chance. So it's all about regulations. Problem with right now globally is that Europe has adopted an extensive AI Act. They have GDPR, they have ETHS for health, they have DORA, everywhere else, India, we are trying to sort of, use existing laws to cover AI. Similarly, in US, when Trump came, he decided that we need to compete with China. And in order to compete, we need to give a relaxation in rules. And public data in USA and India is freely allowed to be used. You in Europe, if you are even for training data, you need to take steps and disclose what data is being used. If it is a copyrighted data, then there are legal protections for that to copyright owners. China has recently given a judgment where they said very clearly that copyrighted data cannot be used. But problem in India, US, Australia is the laws are still evolving. There are lots of places for growth, and it is deliberate at the government level because they have decided that first like cyber war, there are going to be AI wars. So for national security purposes, for competence, we need to first participate in the race and learn to, run fast enough, then regulations will come.
So you're saying first catch up, then then you can think about regulation.
Yes. So that is the
But
way
I
you.
just feel like we're getting, the AI tool itself that people are using, like ChatGPT, as much as it's been created to help us enhance our knowledge and our writing skills, etc. I feel more and more it's dumbing down the larger population. People are barely using their thought. Kanishk, would you want to comment on that? You watch social media today, and people who want to give a strong message, want to say something that's on their mind, and they're saying it exactly how a ChatGPT would throw up a copy. If you have something in your mind, type it into ChatGPT, that exact format. It's a template that ChatGPT is using, and that's the template you hear from people all across social platforms. And I'm actually personally, because I monitor social media so closely myself, I'm very shocked to see a pattern of narrative. It's just the same way of speaking. It's the same usage of words, and I can tell it's AI without having a tool.
Absolutely, Nabila. The key part is not only on social media, even the ministers who are making those fancy speeches,
Yeah.
their executive assistants are today creating those fancy speeches using ChatGPT or other AI tools like Gemini. And you will see a lot of times the reports which are put out in magazine, newspapers, people forget even to remove the logos and signs of ChatGPT, and they are blindly copy pasted. So the content that is being generated today across journals, newspapers, social media, even ministerial speeches is full of AI generated content. So you need to have clear demarcation, different rules set out, whether it is the parliament, whether it is about reporting a particular article, that it has to have certain minimal level of AI, certain percentage. Beyond it, it of no value because it's only machines which are writing content and making everyone dumb. So either it has to be what, 10, 15, 20%. That could be decided on the area of work. In terms of scientific
Forget
research or literature, it
articulation.
could be lesser.
Yeah, right. You said research. Forget articulation. Okay, you can probably better your language with the use of AI. But again, it's all sounding the same to me. But even then, facts on AI, they're getting it so wrong. ChatGPT still can't get the fact that Trump is the current president of the United States. It still throws up as former president. So and a lot of a lot of people who do not cross check are publishing exactly that material. Former president of the United States, going by ChatGPT, they assume and believe that ChatGPT is holy grail. Whatever is coming up there is a fact. But there a lot of negatives are shown as positives. It's just I don't know what it's doing to our knowledge bank. Mr. Duggal, do you believe that in the future we're going to see this a large population who are dumb enough not to actually speak a sentence but are able to articulate very well in writing thanks to AI?
Well, we are already going through a new phase. There's a recent study which says that the new generation, the Gen Z, which is using AI like a default option, is likely to be much more dumber than the previous generation.
Yeah.
Why? Because they have actually mortgaged their cognitive thinking capabilities at the gates of this big AI tech companies. So, apart from that, there's also further reason to believe that these kind of ailments like Alzheimer's are going to come in far more quicker for this generation, thanks to the fact that they're extensively only relying upon AI. I think when you start going ahead and not exercising your cognitive thinking capabilities, your mind starts to give way. So therefore, we have all been pretty lazy now and complacent, and AI has made us even more complacent. But it's here, I think, that the governments of the world have a role to play.
Yeah.
The governments cannot themselves be mute spectators and allow the cognitive faculties of their citizenry to be left uh, to the grass. So therefore, countries will have to start come up with the rights protecting the neuro rights and the cognitive thinking capabilities of their citizenry as part of their bundle of rights. For example, I would want the governments to recognize the right to reality as an integral part of my fundamental human right.
True.
The right to not the right not to be misled by AI and the right to an explainable, accountable AI are very imperative rights. And further, the right to ensure that the protection and preservation of my cognitive thought processes is not prejudicially impacted by AI. So a lot of work will have to be done.
But what kind
Otherwise,
of standard do we need? I mean, do you think we should, in fact, you said we should, global standard for AI use in professional services, medicine, accounting, all professional services that need your intelligence and depth and knowledge? Shouldn't there be a law that kind of, is set so that you don't rely on AI?
There is a need for a distinctive law. Unfortunately, at the international level, there's no one law, and now countries walking in different directions. It's unlikely that there's going to be any international consensus on that regard. But having
That's
said
sad.
that, it's time to make AI more accountable. Why? Because today most of the laws across the world do not deal with accountability of AI, and that happens primarily because we have ceased to stop thinking, and we have not yet recognized AI as a legal entity. So you'll have to give conditional legal personhood to AI so that you can make AI more accountable, you can make it more transparent and explainable, and ultimately also please go ahead and specify the liability of the users. Now, if you're using AI to dumb your own mental capabilities, somewhere down the line, the responsibility has also to be your own. In addition, government must actually encourage these service providers that they must come up with public awareness campaigns involving them or telling the users of the downsides of using AI too
Yeah.
much. AI is like a Rampuri knife. Use it for cutting vegetables or using for murdering anyone. Choice is yours. But the law needs to stipulate parameters. Should you use a Rampuri knife for murdering someone?
You know, when you actually use AI to find out something, want to do some research with it, it's still fun because there's so much that you don't know that AI kind of throws up. But when you're using AI for every little thing of what response to give a friend, what kind of answers do I, write for my examinations, and without actually reading the full material, that's when I think it gets detrimental. And I think that's the classic example for what's happened with KPMG as well. 28 of their internal, their partners' staff, 28 members, for their internal exams have uploaded all their data on AI tools, basically compromising with internal data as well. That's another risk. So a good example that's been set by KPMG. Let's hope companies across strengthen their vigilance, and employees are more aware now. At least we should be more aware that there is a mechanism to find out if you've used AI. Thanks very much, all of you. I really appreciate you joining us here tonight.